Good morning to you all. Today we are here with another video where we are going to discuss the basic fundamental of vice president and the question related to this topic. So first we will discuss the question, and through this question we will discuss the basic concept of this chapter. The first question is: the vice president of India is elected by the member of an electoral college comprising. So we have to remember that a vice president is elected through a electoral college, and this electoral college consists of both houses of parliament, member of both houses of parliament, that is Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. And we all know that Rajya Sabha has some elected member and some nominated member. Though we know that this is an indirect election, but they are called elected member, and these are the person who are nominated by the President of India. And about the Lok Sabha, here earlier there were nominated member also, but in the 104th Amendment Act in 2020, the quota of Anglo-Indian community has been scrapped out. So here only the elected member are there. So we can say that all the member of both houses of parliament, whether they are elected or nominated. In the Rasa we have both elected and nominated, but in the Lok Sabha now we have only elected member. The nominated quota has been scrapped out, which was earlier there for the Anglo-Indian community. And this Anglo-Indian community quota has also been scrapped out in the state also. So that we will study in another chapter when we discuss about the state legislature. So here the answer is all the member of both houses of parliament, whether they are elected or nominated. And we will learn the differences between the electoral college of president and the vice president in the chapter of when we will discuss the president chapter. So here the answer is all the member of both houses of parliament. Next question is: the vice president of India is elected by the electoral college of both houses of parliament. So I have already told you that it includes both houses of parliament. Member are either elected or nominated, it doesn't matter. But there is a difference in the president electoral college, because there only the elected member of both houses of parliament participate in the election, plus the elected member of legislative assemblies, the legislative assemblies which are present in the state, various state. So the MLAs also take part in the election of vice president, and the MLAs in two union territory, the Delhi and Puducherry, which we call Puducherry. So they have also a state union. They have also legislature. So the MLAs present in these both union territories, they also take part in this election. So the electoral college of vice president and president has some differences. So we will discuss further more in detail about the electoral college of president in the chapter of president. So here the answer is only a member of both houses of parliament. We can't say that electoral college which elect president, because as I told you that the electoral college of president is his composition is different from the electoral college of vice president. So coming to question number 3, consider the following statement. Which of these statements are correct? Like election of president, the election of vice president is indirect. The member of state legislature play an important role in the election of both. So I told you that in the election of president, the election of vice president, like the election of president, the election of vice president is indirect. So when we will discuss the chapter of president, uh, mm, we will discuss further more in detail. But for your brief information, the president, as I told you, is also indirectly elected, because people here do not directly vote for the president, because they are elected by the representative which we elect. Like in the state, there are MLAs, the people elect MLAs, and in turn, these MLAs take part in the election of president. And at the parliament level, people vote for the MPs. So, so the people vote for MPs, and in turn, these MPs take part in the election of president. So the election is indirect in that sense, that people do not directly vote for the president. And in the similar fashion, the vice election of vice president is also indirect. People here do not also take part directly in the election, do not vote for the vice president. Our representative in the parliament take part in this election. And I told you about the electoral college. What is its composition? It comprises of both nominated and elected member of both houses of parliament, that is Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. The member of state legislature play an important role in the election of both. I told you that member of state legislature play an important role in the election of president, because the president is the supreme head, is the topmost executive body authority in India, in our country. So it has many important role which we will discuss in the chapter of president. So there should not be any biasness toward the center. State must have also an say. So the state legislature are also involved. The member of state legislature are also involved in the election of president. But in the election of vice president, the member of state legislature, I told you that they are not involved at all. So the second statement is wrong, and the first statement is only correct. So what is where is the answer? A. Given below are the two statement, assertion and reason. So the assertion says that in order to be eligible for the election of vice president, a person must be qualified for election as a member of upper house. So this statement is correct, because the basic criteria to contest election for the vice president uh, is that a person must be eligible to contest the election for the member of upper house, that is Rajya Sabha. Lower house is called Lok Sabha. So the some of the criterias are that he must be a citizen of India. He must be qualified for election as a member of Rajya Sabha, and we know that for the election of member of Rajya Sabha, 35-year is a basic criteria, and for the member of Lok Sabha it is 25-year. So the basic criteria you have to remember is that he should be eligible to contest election as a member of Rajya Sabha, and automatically you can guess the age. And these are the basic criteria. Second statement is says that vice president is the chairperson of Rajya Sabha. So if we read carefully the function of vice president, then there are not very much function about the of the vice president. So it is one of the function. It is one of the most significant function of vice president, that he is ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. That by the virtue of being sitting on the position of vice president, he is by default the chairperson of Rajya Sabha, and this post is similar to the post in the American Constitution, which also says that the American Vice President is the chairman of Senate, which is the upper house of American legislature. Lower house is the Congress. So this statement is also correct, but we have to um, um, understand the relation, as he must be qualified for election as a member of upper house, The reason is that Vice President is the chairperson of Rajya Sabha. So both A and R are true. That is correct. And R is an acceptable explanation of A. So as the both the statement are related, that it is also related to the Rajya Sabha, where must be qualified for the election as a member of Rajya Sabha, and so by the virtue of sitting on that position, he is indirectly the chairperson of Rajya Sabha. So that make this statement also correct, and this is also an acceptable explanation of A. The answer is A. Which of the following statement about the Vice President of India are not correct? In order to be Vice President, a person must be qualified for election as a member of House of People, nor not as a member of House of People. House of People is Lok Sabha, but he or she should be a member of he or should be must be qualified for election as a member of Rajya Sabha, that is House of State or Council of State, not House of People. So this statement is incorrect. A member of a state legislature can be the candidate for this office. So any person who has the basic criteria which I told you, that he must be 35 year of age, he must be citizen of India, he must be qualified for election as a member of Rajya Sabha. So these all criteria, if a person fulfill, then he is eligible to be a candidate for this office. One other qualification for the post of the vice president is that he should not hold any office of profit under the union government, any state government, or any local authority. So some of you have maybe having the doubt that what is office of profit. So office of profit is actually not defined in the constitution, but they are time to time defined by the parliament. So office of profit are the posts in government which are occupied by legislator with some financial remuneration and have certain executive power. This office of profit has been created to avoid conflict of interest. As in our constitution, we have separation of power. So the executive and legislature are both different. Though there are some exemption like minister. Minister are also part of legislature and they are also part of executive. But the parliament has exempted some of the offices from the office of profit, that they do not create any conflict of interest, because our democratic polity has been designed in such a way that there is some intermixing between legislature and executive for some posts, not for all posts. And one thing here to be noted is that when a person is elected as a vice president, at the time of election he may be a member of either house, he may be itself already sitting on the post of vice president, president, governor, or any minister, or maybe member of any legislature or parliament. So on entering into the office he has to vacate that seat which he was already sitting on before being elected as a vice president. So this statement is correct. There are two more statements. The term of office of vice president is same as that of president. Correct. Both are 5 year. Both are having a tenure of 5 year. He can be removed through a formal impeachment. So there is no such word written in the constitution that vice president is removed through a formal impeachment. Impeachment is only for the that president. Vice president is for the removal of vice president. There is a certain procedure which has been devised in the constitution. First of all, a 14 days notice has to be given to the vice president that his removal is under consideration. So he has to be informed 14 days before. He has to be given a notice. Second, a resolution must be passed in Rajya Sabha, as he is a ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha and has a vital role in Rajya Sabha proceeding. So the resolution of his removal can be passed first in Rajya Sabha only, not Lok Sabha, and that resolution has to be passed through effective majority. In the book Laxmikanth, it has been written as absolute majority, which is incorrect, because in the constitution it has been written that all the then member phrase means effective majority, and effective majority is defined as the total number of member in the house minus vacancies. So if we calculate 50%, so 50% of total number minus vacancies, so that is the number which is required for his removal, should be more than 50% of effective majority. So this is second step. And third step is that, so it is, as it is a very important post next only to the president, so that resolution must be passed through Lok Sabha also. And in Lok Sabha, that resolution need not to be passed through a special majority. It has to be passed by simple majority, that is 50%, more than 50% of member present and voting, and those who are present, and those among those who have voted. So present and voting, 50% of member present and voting. So that is the procedure for the removal of vice president. And one more thing is that the ground of removal of vice president is not mentioned in the constitution, as in the case of president it has been written as the violation of constitution. So no such ground has been mentioned in the constitution for the removal of vice president. So that is another important information regarding the removal of vice president. So the answer here is, it is incorrect, it is correct. So the answer is 2 and 3. So answer is 2 and 3. Correct answer is 2 and 3. But here is, it is asking, but it is not correct. The not correct is 1 and 4. Going to the next question. How is Vice President of India elected? Vice President of India is elected through, we know that it is direct national election. No, it is indirect election. Nomination of president. No. Through direct election of MPs, Lok Sabha and MLAs. So MLAs are not involved. Through election by the MPs of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So we have already studied that electoral college for the election of vice president consists of both houses of parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and that too elected member and nominated member also. So as I already told you that both elected and nominated members are the part of electoral college for the election of vice president. So the next question is, which among the following elect the vice president of India? Similar question. We have to recall what is the composition of electoral college. So member of Lok Sabha are also there, member of Rajya Sabha there, legislative assembly are not involved. And one more important thing, which is that member of legislative council are also not involved. So only 1 and 2. The vice president of India is the second highest dignitary. So in the table of precedence means or the arrangement of the various constitutional posts in India. So at first we have the president, which is the first person in the country. Second is vice president. So it is at the second highest constitutional office after the president. Third is the prime minister, and fourth we have the various governors. So you can check this table of president, which is given in the book. So vice president is at the it is the second highest dignitary of India. He and the second statement is that has no formal function attached to the office. So there are not much function related to this office, because though there are function that he is the ex officio chairperson of Rajya Sabha, he also act as a president when the vacancies occur, when the vacancy offer in the office of president. So he is also chancellor of central universities. So there are some function. So as such, there are no formal function attached to his office. So second statement is also correct, because it comes to power only when the president is not in the office. He perform all the function of the president. Discharges the function of president during his absence. That is correct. Act as the president if the president resign or is removed or dies. So that is correct. He act as a president if the president resign, is removed, or death. But here we have to remember that he can act only for the 6 month when there is a vacancy. When there is a vacancy, he can act as a president only for a certain period, that is 6 months. Within 6 months, the post of president has to be filled up. But there is another word in the book which is absence or some illness or any other cause. When the president is absent or absent due to illness or any other reason, then the vice president act as a president until that president assume his office. So it can act as a president more than 6 months in the case of absence, but in the case of vacancies, it can act only up to 6 months. So there is a difference between vacancy and absence. Coming to the next question, Vice President of India may be removed from his office by the resolution of. So I told you that though both the houses are needed for the removal, but it may be removed from his office by the resolution, because the resolution has to be first passed in the Council of State, that is Rajya Sabha. So Rajya Sabha is the right answer. Council of State is the right answer, and it has to be passed through a effective majority. Effective majority, that is 50% of total membership of the house minus vacancies. And then if it is passed through Rajya Sabha, then it goes to Lok Sabha, and then there it has to be passed through simple majority, that is 50% of present and voting. Next question is, the proposal relating to dismissal of vice president can be presented in. So it has to be first presented in the Rajya Sabha. That is correct answer. A resolution for the removal of vice president of India can be proposed in not any house. It is only in the, we know that, Rajya Sabha only. Who is the chairman of Rajya Sabha? Vice president. Who is the ex officio chairman? Ex officio means by the virtue of on his post, means that vice president being on his post as a vice president, he act as chairperson or chairman of Rajya Sabha. So the answer is vice president. Which of one of the following is presided over and by one who is not a member? Which one of the following is presided over by one who is not a member? So the question is, which of the following body is presided by the person who is not member of that body? So that is Rajya Sabha. So as I already told you that vice president is neither a member of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha or any state legislature. He is vice president, and that itself is a constitutional post, and by default of being vice president, by virtue of being vice president, he is the chairperson of Rajya Sabha. Among four pair given below, which one of the following consists of a correct combination of dignitaries who became vice president after having held diplomatic posts? So this is very static question which are not generally asked. So the answer is Radhakrishnan. And Radhakrishnan has been the person who has been elected 2 times as vice president. So answer is B. So that you can remember is not much so important. Which of the following has held the office of vice president of India? So the answer here is B, 1 and 4. 1 and 4. Shankar Dayal Sharma. Muhammad Hidayatullah was the 6th vice president of India from this to this, and Shankar Dayal Sharma was vice president of India from this to this. Rest all were president of India. So it is asked, who among the following has held the office of vice president? So these both are vice president, and Shankar Dayal Sharma and Hidayatullah were the vice president of India. So that is very static question. Serial number of Mohammed Hamid and mm, any question which is remaining? The serial number of Mr. Mohammed Ahmed Ansari. So C, 12th. And at present, Mohammed Venkaiah Naidu is the 13th vice president. And at present, we have Jagdish Dhankar, who is the 14th vice president. At present. Thank you and have a nice day. If you like our videos, please subscribe it and like it.